Bayer, the big parent company of a bunch of these conglomerates, knowingly, for years, and this was ongoing until 2000, all over the world shipped out HIV-filled factor VIII blood clotting agent that's injected. The media always calls it a vaccine. It really isn't. And it's also filled with hepatitis. And it turned out they knowingly did this. And who was involved in that as well? Baxter Pharmaceutical, the same ones. Now, what's interesting here is the mainstream European press, big newspapers in the Czech Republic and others are saying, was this done on purpose to cause a pandemic because Baxter separately is trying to get approval for a bird flu vaccine? So that's not Alex Jones saying that. That's mainstream news in Europe. But look at this article from 96. You can pull up hundreds of these. Blood, Money, and AIDS. Last December, Corey Dublin, a hemophiliac infected with the virus that causes AIDS, met for lunch at Caro's restaurant in Camarillo, California, with John Bocci, the president of Baxter International Inc. unit that makes blood clotting products. Mr. Dublin, like an estimated 6,000 to 10,000 hemophiliacs nationwide, it's a lot more than that now, it's millions worldwide, became infected with HIV after receiving a tainted clotting substance by Baxter and 3 other companies in the 70s and 80s. No, this went on longer than that. This is from 96. Hundreds of victims have sued, but statutes of limitations prevented thousands more from bringing claims. Really, there's no statute on fraud. There's no statute on murder. That's not true. Mr. Dubbin, however, had not come to lunch to pick a fight. Rather, dissatisfied with the way the key plaintiffs' lawyers were handling litigation, he was on a stealth mission to negotiate for all those infected a settlement with 4 companies without the knowledge of key plaintiffs' lawyers. There's just an example of that. Go to YouTube and Google Bayer AIDS, and you can watch the news clips about it where they knowingly, especially Bayer Pharmaceutical, did this. Now, we told you 2 years ago that in the trials of the HPV, the human papillomavirus vaccine, that it was killing scores of people that took it, and thousands of others were having autoimmune responses and seizures and bloody sores popping up all over their body with this live cancer virus injection that they admit doesn't even guarantee that it will stop you from getting cervical cancer, that only kills about 4,000 people a year. And they're saying every girl needs it, now every boy needs it. Perry claims it's the law to take it. Go look, there is no law. He just made it a recommended shot that the state health department says a recommended to go to school. They don't tell you there's waivers. But why are there waivers? There's not even a law to need a waiver. And now CBS News, CNN, all of them are having reported all these deaths confirmed by the HPV, human papillomavirus inoculation. So, do this at your own risk, ladies and gentlemen. If you go back about 15 years ago, there were only 5 vaccines they tried to push and that they claim were mandatory. Now it's over 60 shots they're trying to make people take. The big pharma comes out with new vaccines. They go lobby, pay off politicians, and politicians then claim it's the law, you've got to take them, when there's not even a law, you've got to take them. Just fraud and lies and corruption on every single front. Now this is confirmed there's HIV in these products. It's confirmed bird flu. It's confirmed the swine flu that was caused by vaccines is admitted. Killed tens of thousands in the U.S. alone. Remember that in the 70s? Folks, you better find out about all this. You better learn what's going on with all of this. You better learn about the connection between vaccines and cancer. Not just the DNA in the vaccines triggering cancer, but the fact that HV40, SV40, and scores of other viruses, most cancer is viral. Most cancer is viral. That's the big dirty secret. But now that that's out, they have vaccines against viral cancer, which then kill you in many cases or maim you. But look into the fact of SV40. Just Google SV40 cancer. And you will be on the Centers for Disease Control admitting more than 200 million Americans were injected with it and that it causes scores of different types of fast-acting cancers that were unknown until the 50s with the polio vaccine. And guess what? It's still in most major vaccine stocks. Not just, let me explain that again, not just polio. Now, if you see my film, Endgame Blueprint for Global Enslavement, we show all the documents, all the government documents, State Department, CIA, congressional testimony, that the eugenics families, like the Rockefellers who publicly are in the encyclopedia funding the Kaiser Wilhelm Eugenics Society, that Hitler learned everything he got from, that they knowingly discovered that most cancer is viral and that it is implanted in your vaccines. I mean, I just read to you where it's HIV and bird flu. I mean, what else do you need out there? We'll be right back with Lindsey Williams, a bunch of economic news. Stay with us. We are back live. I know we've had loaded phones since the start of the show. I know your calls will be all over the map, but Lindsey Williams can comment on those. Later, at the very end of the show, I'm going to play a clip of a senator that actually asked some hard questions of the private Federal Reserve head, Bernanke. They won't say where the $9.7 trillion now they've stolen went. And there's a Bloomberg headline from Friday. Fed refuses to release bank data, insist on secrecy. That's what this police state's all about, so the offshore banks that control Washington can carry out their heist. Also, the media is saying that Obama is basically making his entire policy system be built around attacking Rush Limbaugh. They have to do that because the Republicans and Democrats all vote to expand government, attack our liberties and freedoms, so they have to act like there's a difference between the two parties. And that will energize the liberal base, that will energize the mainline conservative base. This is a basic form of manipulation. We'll go over it. Also have some other important news. You know, there's that Bob Dylan song, Sundown on the Union. And he says in there, you know, someday even growing your own home garden will be against the law. And I've seen articles around Europe and the United States where they're restricting people even having gardens in their backyards saying, you might grow marijuana. See, no citizen can even be trusted not just to have a gun. You can't be trusted to grow tomatoes. And if you go back to slaves in Europe under feudalism, they couldn't grow their own food. It's a system of control. And I saw that out of the Tulsa World. Tulsa City Councilor questions community gardens, saying allowing citizens to grow gardens in their backyards. Yeah, we're so controlled, you can't have a garden. He says because they might grow marijuana, so we have to have police inspections of your garden. See, all guilty until proven innocent. Oh, my gosh, you got a tomato plant. And here in Austin, everybody I talk to that gets raided by the police, it's for having bloodweed in their backyard that grows everywhere. Oh, that bloodweed looks a little bit like it. We don't have a warrant, but we're coming in your house. It's such a sick joke. They use the phony drug war to get involved in our lives, and the bigger the drug war gets, the more drugs on our streets, more liberties and freedoms we lose. Look at Mexico collapsing because of their phony drug war. You end the drug war, the crime gangs, the syndicates, the banks laundering the money will rise up like a cold sore. It'll all become very, very clear. But they won't do that because it's their plan to bring down this nation. It's the globalists. They want to conquer us. It's what they do. And until we wake up to that, it's over.